ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Let's go back to Navadvip Dham 500 years back when Lord Chaitanya was doing his various pastimes. Gaura Sundar, very beautifully dressed, with beautiful curly hair, with nice malati flowers on the head, beautiful garland, beautiful yellow dhoti, and various ornaments on the body, and is just roaming around in entire Gaur Mandal, glancing at everyone. How wonderful that will be. The Lord is just looking at everyone. When our sannyasis come and when they look at us, we feel all so nice. He saw me. He saw me. Sometimes sentimental devotees, they say, I am taking diksha from this devotee, this sannyasi. Why? That day he saw me. But on a serious note, it feels so nice, isn't it? When some exalted soul, even if they glance at us, it feels so nice. Just imagine Gaur Sundar glancing on us. How wonderful that will be. Just go around glancing at everyone. And one day, when he was there in a place called Kulia, so in that place, there was a personality who was reciting Srimad Bhagwatam. This personality was known for his Bhagwatam in that entire area. From birth, he was religious minded, detached, very scholarly. And at the same time, he would not speak on any other literature except Srimad Bhagwatam. Right from the time he started preaching, he started only speaking Srimad Bhagwatam. He used to be very peaceful, self-controlled, sense-controlled, maintained very high level of celibacy, no greed, lived a sannyasi life. And all the time he was just aspiring to attain liberation. There's only one small problem. He was doing all this, and the small problem was he didn't have bhakti. That's it. He had everything. Only thing that he didn't have is bhakti. So now when he would speak Srimad Bhagwatam, he'll just beat around the bush. But he'll not come to the central point of devotional service. He'll not speak about that. So our Gaur Sundar, he was going around and he heard this Bhagavatam class. Walking and then he heard Bhagavatam class. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he comments on this thing and he says, what was the problem with him? Why was he not able to come to the central point of Krishna consciousness which is given in Srimad Bhagavatam? Saraswati Thakur is writing, since he was absorbed in the idea that the goal of life is to become liberated from this world, he was unable to grasp the purport of Srimad Bhagavatam. No one covered by karma or jnana attains self-realization. Therefore, they are unable to realize the eternal nature of worshipping the Supreme Lord. After hearing this, you'll be able to appreciate Srila Prabhupada. See, here it is said, having this desire, moksha kama, or kama for bhoga, that is sense gratification, be it sense gratification, liberation, or some mystic powers, karma, jnana, yoga. If we are aspiring for any of it, we will not be able to understand the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam, that is pure devotional service. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada, how many times he repeats? Unalloyed devotional service. Unalloyed devotional service means there is no mix, there is no contamination of karma, jnana, and yoga. There is no mix of this. Why? Only when we render pure devotional service, only at that time, by the mercy of the Lord, we'll be able to understand the crux of Krishna consciousness. or else we'll be just beating around the bush all the time and will not be able to attain the ultimate goal. Forget about ultimate goal. We'll not be able to understand or attain the ultimate understanding of the ultimate thing. It will be very, very difficult. Therefore, this point is very important. The only desire that every devotee should have is, I want to serve the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. That's it. No other desire apart from this. If you have any other desire, in the entire society, I want to be the well-known person. Tell me, this comes in karma, jnana, yoga. Huh? Karma, yoga, hatke rehna hai. That comes in yoga. Siddhi, hatke. I want to have the best of the best, luxurious living, luxurious lifestyle. That comes in karma. Oh, I'm tired of this entire place. Forget it. I just want to get rid of this place. This comes in jnana. That is moksha. So all the three are not good. If someone is aspiring, I want the best of the best luxury. I want to be hatke is pure dunya mein. I want to be hatke. I want to be extraordinary. Or I want to get rid of this world. So many problems, this and that. All these different things are coverings to pure devotional service. So as soon as we give up all these different things and only have one desire, I want to serve my Prananath, Sri Krishna, or my Prana, Sri Radha and Krishna, then the devotee is on the right track. With this mode of service, the person will be able to understand the crux of devotional service. Or else it's very difficult. हम लोग सिर फोड़ते रह जाएंगे, but we'll not understand what is actually the essence of Krishna consciousness. We'll not get realizations in Krishna consciousness. We will just struggle and nothing else. So all these three are something which we should be very careful of. We shouldn't be having all these things. One desire, that is, I want to serve their lordships, Sri Radha and Krishna. That's my only goal. That's my only aspiration. And say, galti se kuch aur desire bhi aata hai, so we should tell to the Lord, no, my core desire is to serve you. These are auxiliary desires. Please forgive me. This is my core desire. I want to serve your lordships. And only by this desire of service, onto the lotus feet of Sri Radha and Krishna, we can be completely satisfied. Otherwise, very difficult. We cannot be satisfied. Vyasadeva wrote so many scriptures and he was not satisfied. Because he had not sufficiently and repeatedly glorified pure devotional aspect. He had glorified karma, jnana, yoga, etc. But he didn't glorify sufficiently and repeatedly pure devotional service. But when he wrote Srimad Bhagwatam, he was completely satisfied. So any devotee who is struggling, that Prabhuji, I'm not feeling satisfied, I'm not feeling happy, it means you're not doing pure devotional service. As simple as that. And those devotees who are rendering pure devotional service, you will see they're always calm, cool, happy. Because only pure devotional service can satisfy one's heart. And here, this Devananda Pandit, he never spoke on bhakti. He's speaking from Srimad Bhagwatam and he's not speaking on bhakti. So weird, no, for ISKCON devotees. We cannot imagine a class like that, where Bhagwatam is spoken and there is no bhakti that is spoken. So when Mahaprabhu heard this, when Gauranga heard this, Gaur Sundar heard this, he was not able to control himself. He started shouting and chastising this person. This is a useless person. He does not know the essence of Srimad Bhagwatam. It went on to such an extent. Gauranga got so angry that he was running to his place to tear the book that he was speaking from. And all the devotees are catching Gauranga from behind. You can imagine the scene where Lord Krishna is holding the wheel and running towards Bhishma Dev. But that was still devotional exchange. Here Lord was really angry, really angry. Devanand Pandit has got some history also. Shvas Takur or Shvas Takur. This is much before Lord Gauranga advented in this world. So Shvas Takur, pure devotee, he was sitting in the Bhagwatam class of Devanand Pandit because his classes were well known. So this also goes on to say that if some Bhagwatam speaker is very well known out of ISKCON, one should be too allured to go and sit in the class. Bona fide speaker is very, very important. He was a famous speaker. And Shvas Takur went and he sat. But since he was a pure, perfected soul, what happened is, any shloka that is spoken from Bhagwatam, there was no need of purport for Shvas Takur. As soon as he would hear those words from Bhagwatam, it would enter his ears and he would go into ecstasy. Just by hearing the verses of Srimad Bhagwatam, he'll go into ecstasy. हुआ आपके साथ ऐसा कभी? ठीक, कोई नहीं, हो जाओ, एक दिन होगा. One day it will happen. He was in ecstasy. He started crying and weeping and making sounds, weird sounds. I was reading some symptoms of devotees who attend Krishna Prem. So coughing is also a symptom of Krishna Prem. Repeated coughing. But anyways, we shouldn't mistake in the base if someone is coughing. We should know who is who. So weird sounds he was making, and since the class was going on, just imagine now when the class is going on, and if someone makes some sound, immediately everyone turns, no? Even if there's a small sound, everyone turns. Now just imagine he was crying and weeping and rolling on the ground. What would have happened? It happened with me once here when I was giving Gita course class, and one Mataji got fits. And she fell, and then she was making sound and this and that. I saw that I continued speaking. And all the devotees, they were all going around and gathering around and seeing what's happening. So here also that happened. So it was huge commotion in the class. Therefore, the students of Devanand Pandit, they very nicely picked up Shvas Takur and very nicely kept him on the street. And Devanand Pandit didn't speak a word about this. So when the disciple does some mistake, Guru is supposed to correct. And if Guru is not correcting, Guru takes the ownership of the mistake or the offense that the disciples have done. Very important thing. Therefore, disciples have to be very careful. So here disciples did this, and since Guru didn't speak against the activity of the disciple, so the offense that the disciples committed onto a pure devotee, that offense came onto Devanand Pandit. So Shvas Takur was on the street. He was still in ecstasy, crying and rolling on the ground and all that, on the street. And suddenly he came back to his senses and he realized, I'm no more in the Bhagwatam class. And he got up, he went to his home. And then he opened his own copy of Srimad Bhagwatam and he started reading. And this particular incident, which happened much, much before Lord Gauranga advented, was narrated by Gauranga in Mahaprakash Leela. The huge, wonderful pastime that took place in Shvas Takur's house. So Gauranga Mahaprabhu, he called Shvas, come here. You remember that day when the students of Devanand Pandit, they got you out of that hall and threw you on the road. And you were very, very sad and morose and you went to your house. You opened Srimad Bhagwatam, you started reading Bhagwatam. And when you were reading Bhagwatam, you're feeling very joyful, very happy from within. You know why, O Shvas? Because I from Vaikuntha manifested directly into your heart to give you that happiness. And when devotees heard this, so happy, everyone, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. They're also happy. So when I was hearing this pastime, or reading this pastime, one thing that struck me was that we might sit and read Srimad Bhagwatam, but the taste, realizations, experience, joy, only Krishna can give. It's not in our hand. It happens sometimes a devotee, a Bhagavatam speaker is speaking and he's relishing so much. He's gulping his saliva as if he's tasting some rasgulla in his mouth. And after hearing that class, devotees are like, it looks like these are very important words. I should read this. And when you go back and read the same verse, kuch bhi to nahi hai isme. What was he relishing so much? What was that? Breaking the words, telling this meaning, that meaning. What was that he was relishing? So relishing Srimad Bhagwatam, tasting Srimad Bhagwatam, feeling that joy, feeling that happiness of Krishna consciousness, this has to be gifted. This has to be awarded to us. And this award Krishna himself gives when he sees the sincerity in all of us. It's a gift. Sometimes people ask, Prabhuji, मुझे रागानुगा भक्ति करना है. रागानुगा भक्ति किया नहीं जाता. That is gifted by the Lord. हम कर नहीं सकते रागानुगा भक्ति. Now we cannot do raga. Raga means attachment. And that attachment is gifted by the Lord to us. Very, very important. Therefore, this has to be very clear that only if we are gifted by the treasure of Krishna consciousness, we'll be able to relish Krishna consciousness. And who can gift us? Lord Krishna can gift us. And Krishna has given the proprietorship to some other people also. And they are called as the acharyas in the parampara. Therefore we sing, Krishna se tomar, Krishna de te par, tomara shakti ache. Ami to Kangala, Krishna Krishna boli, dhai tava pache pache. They have the proprietary rights. Krishna has given them. And they are holding Krishna with them. They have Krishna Prem. And they can actually gift it to us. And how can they gift? When will they gift? When we please them by our sincerity. Very, very important. Therefore, this point has to be very clear for all of us as devotees. That we cannot just grab it. It has to be gifted. It has to be gifted to us. And the best part is, they're eager to gift it to us. ऐसा नहीं कि वो छुपा के रखे ये मेरा treasure नहीं दूंगा. It's not that they're holding. They are those salesmen of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is distributing Krishna Prem for free. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has appointed these salespeople. And they have got the Krishna Prem, the fruits of love of Godhead. And they want to distribute it for free to everyone. But the only thing is, we need to have some vessel to hold that. That's it. That's it. That vessel is a thing which has become a problem in our life. So we have to have the right patra to hold the fruit of love of Godhead. And that right patra will become that right patra, right vessel, when we sincerely practice devotional service. So we have a vessel, but a lot of holes are there. And to be more precise, we have 16 holes in that. Those are called as 16 anarthas. Yes. Some are very big. वो fruit डालते ही नीचे से निकल जाएगा. So therefore, we have to cover that. And that is possible by doing devotional service sincerely. Like Shvas Takur was remembering. So Shvas Takur was happy. But Lord will never forget the offense committed onto his pure devotee. Shvas Takur forgot because anyway उनको street पे रखा, फिर घर पे गए, भागवतम खोले, he's again happy. Again tears are flowing from his eyes, rolling on the ground, he's all good. But the offense that the disciples of Devanand Pandit did, and since Devanand Pandit didn't take any action, he also got that offense. And he was now an offender. So another day in Kulia, when the Lord was walking again in the same place, and that time Devanand Pandit was coming from the other side. And the other time he wanted to tear the book. Now he was in the mood of tearing Devanand Pandit. Gaur Sundar is very beautiful. He's beautiful when he smiles. He's also very beautiful when he's very angry. But now he was in the mood of Narsimhadev altogether. And he started speaking. You were that person. You were that person who took Shvas Takur out of your Bhagwatam class because he was crying. Relishing Krishna consciousness or relishing Srimad Bhagwatam is the pinnacle of hearing Srimad Bhagwatam. And you are so foolish that when he was relishing Krishna consciousness, he was relishing Srimad Bhagwatam, you threw him away. And you are an offender. And he went on to say a lot of things. So you can imagine, he is the only well-known, renowned Bhagwatam speaker in the entire area. And on the street, Gaur Sundar, who is also a very, very great personality, known by everyone, he is saying all this. And he says, I can understand that even though you teach Srimad Bhagwatam, you have not realized its purpose in any of your lifetimes. The first statement he does. That you are speaking, but you have not realized any of it in any of your past lifetimes. One who eats to his full satisfaction feels happy when he goes out in the world. You all feel happy when you eat nicely? Yes. Oh. I've seen devotees, zyada kha liya. And devotees are so happy also. Yes. Maza. Just taking a tangent, somehow I'm remembering my early years of Krishna consciousness. First time we had gone for Chappan Bhog. And I had no experience, but I was still attending classes and all that. I had heard about what is Chappan Bhog. And I had got my friend also. He had not attended any class, no exposure to Krishna consciousness. I told him there's a lot of food that is distributing, let's go. We went there. And then they were giving. So they were given a plate and then they were giving us items. So they were giving one small morsel. And then since we both were first timers, and it was chole and basmati rice or whatever, like, अरे और डालो. जो भी आ रहा था plate भर लिए. And after that they got samosa, rasgulla, gulab jamun, so many items. And then somehow, by Lord's mercy, I could finish. He was not able to finish. And there were other people standing to look at us finish. Then he packed some things, he kept it in the bag. And, oh, Kartikeya, मैं मर जाऊंगा, कुछ कर, जल्दी कर, मैं मर जाऊंगा. His stomach was huge. Huge. I'm not talking about that full. I don't think Vrindavan Das Thakur was talking about that. Your stomach is full, you're happy. You're happy, you're blissful. And then he says, Gaur-Sundar is telling, but I tell you that even though you teach Srimad Bhagwatam, which is full of ecstatic love, you have not achieved happiness. You're speaking so much Bhagwatam, but you have not achieved happiness. This is also a nice thing to note for all of us. When we're practicing Krishna consciousness, and if we are not happy, we are not blissful, we are not satisfied, it means we have not tasted the actual core of Krishna consciousness. That's a fact. So when we go and distribute passes and then we tell them that please come for our sessions, etc. And then he might ask that, what will I get? Like, you'll be happy. And inside you're telling, but I'm still searching. Where is it? I'm still searching. See, at least many of you have just spent few years in Krishna consciousness. But there are people who have spent decades also and still are searching where is the happiness. It's there in Krishna consciousness. The only thing is we have to do it sincerely. That's it. Especially, for example, chanting. This was one of my recent contemplation. That whatever rounds we are doing, those are limited rounds only. Aisa nahi, we are followers of Haridas Thakur and 192 rounds we are doing. So 16 rounds we will just waste, so that's okay. We do only 16. But वो भी अगर चल फिर के बात करते और खत्म कर दिए with distracted mind, tell me what are we going to attain in Krishna consciousness? If those 16 rounds which we are chanting only once in a day, if that also goes in vain, then where is the question of attaining higher state of existence in spiritual life? Very difficult. So those 16 rounds that we are doing, वो चल फिर के खत्म नहीं कर सकते हम लोग. We have to be very conscious. And we should be very cautious of this fact. No, I cannot miss these 16 rounds. I have to sit properly, chant. Even if you're doing it in the evening time, especially for you all the ones who are going to office and pending rounds, some have finished it off and sleep. No, it has to be proper. Wash your face, and be in Vaishnava attire. If not, at least put tilak, pray to the Lord with same mood as we do in the morning. We should do it in the evening also. So all 16 rounds have to be proper. Very, very important. And when we do that properly, then we can think of tasting something in Krishna consciousness. And that's what he's saying, that you have not achieved any happiness. Another very important point that is mentioned is, if one studies the book Bhagavad but does not respect devotee Bhagavad, he is an offender. One may study Bhagavad in that way for hundreds and hundreds of kalpas without making any progress towards Krishna Prem. It might happen. We are reading 6 hours a day, Bhagavatam. But then, we are not advancing Krishna consciousness. Possible. The book Bhagavad and the person Bhagavad are non-different. One who is sincere to know the meaning of the book Bhagavad must serve the devotee Bhagavad. Anyone who is sincere to attain Krishna, we should serve a devotee. We should serve a devotee Bhagavad. For us, Srila Prabhupada is there, he has given us instructions. We have so many senior Vaishnavas around us. We have to serve them nicely. By their mercy, yes, we'll be able to understand. Mahaprabhu was indifferent towards Devanand Pandit, and he did not bestow Krishna Prem upon him. Can you imagine? Mahavadanyaya Patita Pavan Avatar is standing in front of Devanand Pandit, and he didn't give Krishna Prem to him. Can you imagine that? This is a very, very, a very weird situation. That person wants to distribute freely Krishna Prem to everyone. He is not giving it to him. He's not giving it to Devanand Pandit. He's indifferent, as if he has nothing to do with this person. Now he heard all this, and Devanand Pandit, he was really feeling very ashamed. And he didn't reply anything, he just left. क्या बोले, इतना गाली मिला रास्ते पे. What will he say? Therefore, this mood has to be very clear that if I want to advance in Krishna consciousness, if I want to understand what is given in Srimad Bhagwatam, the crux of Krishna consciousness, I have to serve a person who is Krishna conscious. That is called as devotee Bhagavat. That's what we see in case of Narada Muni. He served those devotee Bhagavats, and without reading Bhagavat, he understood the essence of Bhagavat. See, wonderful. Gaur Kishodas Babaji Maharaj. Where is the question of reading Shastra and all that? But he was very clear about the essence of Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada, when he would speak the initial classes in his thick Bengali accent, people are not understanding anything. They are not understanding anything. If I'm not wrong, it was Shrutakirti Prabhu who was telling us this, that they were in West Bengal and Prabhupada is speaking in Bengali language and Shrutakirti Prabhu is sleeping in the class. We are in Parampara. So when he was sleeping in the class, after the class, Prabhupada called him and he scolded. Why are you sleeping? Why are you sleeping? And at that time, Shrutakirti Prabhu said that Prabhupada, you're speaking in Bengali. How will I understand? I don't understand. So, here. That's it. These are transcendental vibrations. Here. And this is a very nice thing to note. Even when they were not understanding, initial disciples I'm talking about, how did they advance in bhakti? They were hearing, but they were not understanding. There was no Bhagavad Gita as it is at that time. There was no Canto 1. There was Canto 1. But still, it was very difficult for them. If you open Canto 1 without understanding Gita, what will we understand? Only thing that they were understanding is Mahamantra. Another thing that they understood is, he is our well-wisher. We have to serve him. And they were serving him. Prabhupada said, entire day go out and chant Hare Krishna. They would chant. They would chant. To such an extent, can you imagine that incident when Srila Prabhupada is traveling from Delhi to Mumbai, and in between, when that person from Delhi comes and he says, I have some preaching opportunity, can you please send some disciples? And he sends disciples. I think Jamuna Mataji was one of them. Bhanuswami Maharaj was also there in that group. And they all get down and this person does not give them proper facility. Long past time cut short. They had dysentery and they had so many other issues. But still every day without fail they would go on to street and they would chant Hare Krishna. And they told Prabhupada also that this is what we are doing. And Prabhupada said, very nice. He didn't say come back. Very nice, continue. And devotees continued. That is the reason, just by doing, even without understanding Shastra, these people just jumped high in Krishna consciousness. Because they were serving devotee Bhagavat. So this is the shortcut that is there in Krishna consciousness. By serving a devotee Bhagavat, by pleasing a devotee Bhagavat, one can jump high in Krishna consciousness. And the best part is you remain high, you don't come down. That's the best part. So in this way, Devanand Pandit was chastised. We'll come back to Devanand Pandit. Let's go to another personality who is the hero of our discussion today, Vakresvara Pandit. So Vakresvara Pandit, according to Gaur Ganodesh Deepika, text 71, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says that he's an incarnation of Aniruddha, one of the Chaturvyuha expansion. Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. These are the four. So he is one of them, Aniruddha. So when Lord comes, he comes with all his expansions. He doesn't come alone. When Krishna appeared, he came with all his expansions. Like that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared, he came with all his expansions. And one of them is Aniruddha. And that is Vakresvara Pandit. And also there is another description saying that he is Tunga Vidya Sakhi also. So this personality, Vakresvara Pandit, he was a constant associate of Lord Chaitanya, both in Navadvip and in Jagannath Puri. How fortunate these personalities were. And they were so attached. They are so attached to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas, there were some people who just followed him. Just followed. Wherever you are going, we'll follow you. There's no question of my possession, my property, there's nothing. They just followed Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that's it. You're going there, we'll also come. And one of them was Vakresvara Pandit. One day when some kirtan was happening in Shvas Takur's house, Vakresvara Pandit, he danced continuously for 72 hours. Try and see. आप लोग आधा घंटा नाच के वो फैन लगाओ और फैन लगा के जय ध्वनि में एकदम लेट जाते हैं, जय भी मुंह से नहीं निकलता उस टाइम पे. 72 hours he danced. 72 hours. So this also goes on to say that there were singers who were chanting for 72 hours. They are mridanga players beating mridanga 72 hours. Oh, imagine the entire ecstatic situation. 72 hours of ecstasy. And Lord himself would sing at times. Lord himself would sing, and when he would sing, Vakresvara Pandit would dance. At one point when Vakresvara Pandit was speaking to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he told one day, "Oh Lord, let thousands and thousands of Gandharvas come, so that the thousands and thousands of Gandharvas, when they sing, and then when I dance, I'll be completely satisfied." Dance karo to aise. This is also a very nice thing to note, that we don't dance for our sense gratification. आज बस ऐसे नाचेंगे कि मजा आ जाएगा एकदम. I hear sometimes devotees doing that. Yes. So one thing has to be very clear, and sometimes other devotees are also very reserved. No, I don't dance. This jungly dance you people do. No, I don't. And in one corner they'll stand. One thing I have to understand is, we are just monkeys of Srila Prabhupada. Monkeys are supposed to entertain the master. So whenever we jump in front of Prabhupada, raising our hands, I always say this, to Prabhupada, I'm your monkey and I'm dancing for your pleasure. Please accept and please be happy. And that's how all devotees were, In Prabhupada time, when Prabhupada was there one day in that Palaki, and very old, since his body was not supporting, and devotees started jumping and dancing. And Prabhupada with his finger, he just indicated. And devotees went even more wild. Even more wild. So we dance for their pleasure, not for our pleasure. So the ones who like to dance should dance for their pleasure. The ones who don't like to dance, even you should dance for their pleasure. We have no reservation. We have no our personal opinions. We should dance. Dance aaye, nahi aaye, we should dance. We should learn and we should dance. Very important. Obviously without hurting other devotees and all that, asterisk. He danced about 72 hours he danced. And a very nice thing, I was just tracing different places where Vakresvara Pandit was dancing. Wherever singing is happening, Vakresvara Pandit is there to dance. Haridas Thakur, when he left his body and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is into ecstasy. He is holding Haridas Thakur's body and he is jumping in ecstasy. Do you remember any pastime where someone is holding dead body and jumping in ecstasy? At least I have come only across this pastime, where Lord Gauranga is holding Haridas Thakur's body and is dancing and jumping, is so happy, all the devotees are happy, and in front of the procession is Vakresvara Pandit dancing in ecstasy. And it's very nice. In Rath Yatra, 7 groups were made, and in 4 groups which were there in front of the Rath, there were 4 lead dancers. Who were they? First one was Advaitacharya. Advaitacharya, he was 50 years elder to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So senior citizen was made as the lead dancer in that group. Second group was Nityananda Prabhu. He was also elder to Lord Gauranga. Chalo, that's still accepted, he is Nityananda Prabhu, so he'll dance. Next is Shvas Takur. He appeared before Gauranga, that too, around 40-50 years before. He was made to dance. So the point is that in Krishna consciousness, age does not matter. So we should always keep giving pleasure to the Lord, with all our activities, including dance. And you see Prabhupada disciples, even now, I've seen Chandramouli Swami Maharaj. Whenever dance starts, I don't know what happens to him. He just jumps and jumps and jumps. Even now. I think he might be there in his late 60s or initial 70s. 74. You'd see him dancing. डर लगता है, दूर रहना पड़ता है ऐसे. The way he'll just circle around, dance and jump from this place to that place. So in this way, these three groups were there, and finally one group, the fourth group, and there the lead dancer was Vakresvara Pandit. And in this we can see a very nice thing at how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was organized. Because everything that we do is for the pleasure of the Lord. So Jagannath Rath ke samne, when they're dancing, so Lord is arranging them in such a way that Jagannath should get the maximum pleasure. What was the need of lead dancer? Nacho jaise nachana hai. Kya problem kya? Nacho jaisa nachana hai. Why there is a need of lead dancer and then everyone has to follow the lead dancer? Here also we have, no? Now we have senior devotees and then however they are moving their leg, we also move accordingly. Why? What is the need of all that? We will dance however we want. The entire funda behind this is that we want to give pleasure to the Lord. And if we have a proper formation that is done, in a proper sync if we dance, it gives a lot of pleasure. Even when we see some dance, maybe school days, college days, when there's a proper formation and all that, it feels so nice, no? Such kitne sync mein naach rahe sab log and all that. So similarly, when we dance in sync, that gives pleasure to the Lord. Therefore, we see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu arranging all this, and there were lead dancers in each. And the others were following the lead dancers. जो step करेंगे, ये भी वही step करेंगे. ऐसा नहीं कोई ऐसे एकदम stubborn हो गया नहीं. मैं वो नहीं, मैं अपना step करूँगा. They're all following just to give pleasure to Jagannath. So this was Vakresvara Pandit. See, one is dancing, and another is dancing in Krishna Prem. So we dance. We also sweat. But that is out of passion. They jump and get tired and then sweat. But these people, when they would dance in Krishna Prem. And as soon as they would start dancing, by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, he would manifest Ashta Sattvic Vikar in his body. Trembling, teeth chattering, choking, perspiration, hair standing on end, etc. So he was experiencing all that. So in this way, Vakresvara Pandit was a very, very dear associate of the Lord. Very, very dear. So one day, Vakresvara Pandit, when he was there in Kulia, so that time, by the arrangement of the Lord or providence, you call it as, he happened to stay in the house of Devanand Pandit or in the ashram of Devanand Pandit. And Devanand Pandit, seeing the effulgence of Vakresvara Pandit, he was very impressed. As soon as you start maintaining purity of consciousness, naturally that effulgence will come. No need of halogen on the face. Yes. There's no need of anything. Naturally effulgence will come, and they'll be very magnetic personalities. As soon as we see them, we feel like, oh, you'll be able to see. Our Harikshepu was sharing with me, his counselor. So both of them were there in the same office. So he was telling, whenever I would look at my counselor's desk, he would be sitting and working, but I could see some effulgence coming from there. Prabhuji used to tell me that. That's a fact also. When you maintain your consciousness properly, naturally that will be there. Just imagine there is no electricity and everyone is effulgent. So no tension. No tension. So he was very effulgent, and his devotional service to Lord Vishnu was amazing. It was incomparable to all the three worlds. And Devanand Pandit was so greatly pleased with the devotion of Vakresvara Pandit that he started sincerely serving Vakresvara Pandit. Now it so happened that he was in so much affection with Vakresvara Pandit that whenever Vakresvara Pandit would start dancing, so that time Devanand Pandit with the stick in the hand, he would guard around Vakresvara Pandit, that no one should come close and disturb his dance. So the crowd would be there around, and with the stick he'll just push everyone behind. Sometimes Vakresvara Pandit, he would be dancing, and I said Ashta Sattvic Vikar will manifest in his body. And at that time, sometime he'll go unconscious. And then when he's falling unconscious, at that time Vakresvara Pandit comes there, or Devanand Pandit comes there, when Vakresvara Pandit is falling unconscious. And Devanand Pandit holds him with his hand and then keeps him down. At times it is described very affectionately when Vakresvara Pandit is in an unconscious state, the dust that is there on the body of his, Devanand Pandit very affectionately he would remove the dust. He would not just remove the dust, he would take that dust and smear on his own body. Yes. It's quite the intelligence. In this way, he was serving very, very nicely. There was one, Devanand Pandit was very pure. He was very austere, celibate, etc., etc. Right from childhood, very devotional, not devotional, very religious. But there was one sinful mentality that he had. And that sinful mentality was not having faith in Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sometimes it happens that it's very difficult for people to accept that same Krishna has come down as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They struggle to accept this fact. So that is sinful mentality. So the sinful mentality will drag the person down in Krishna consciousness. And this sinful mentality was there in this personality, Devanand Pandit. And these are the words of Vrindavan Das Thakur. He is writing Chaitanya Bhagwatam. That this was the sinful mentality in Devanand Pandit. So therefore, sinful mentality always need not be illicit activities. We are so gross and stupid that for us, sinful activities means no illicit sex, meat eating, gambling, intoxication. Yes. So these are the sinful activities for us. But here, can you imagine on a higher level, sinful activity or sinful mentality is this: not having faith that Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. But here, there was some miracle that took place. Just by serving Vakresvara Pandit, Devanand Pandit's sinful mentality was completely removed. And his faith on Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu increased very nicely. He got staunch faith on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore, in Chaitanya Bhagavat, Vrindavan Das Thakur writes, he says, there may be a doubt whether the servants of Supreme Personality of Godhead will attain perfection. Devotees of Lord Krishna, they may or may not attain perfection. They might not attain Krishna Prem, may or may not. But there is absolutely no doubt that those who are attached to serving the Lord's devotees will attain perfection. So once we're serving the devotees of Lord Krishna, there is no doubt that they will attain perfection. Surely they'll attain Krishna Prem. That's the point that he is making here, Vrindavan Das Thakur. And by the influence of Vakresvara Pandit's association, Devananda developed an intense desire to take darshan of Gaur Sundar. Now, Gaur Sundar is not in Nadia, in Navadvip. He's already taken sannyas and he's there in Jagannath Puri. And now he's thinking, oh, I had such a wonderful opportunity. But that time, I didn't utilize the opportunity. Surely this we will also feel. When our youth will go away, at that time we will feel, oh, there was such a wonderful opportunity to render devotional service. So much time was there with me. Full evening was mine. Full morning was mine. But I didn't utilize it properly. It will come. Everyone gets this realization. Yes. So he was feeling that, oh, I didn't utilize the opportunity. It was there in front of me. I didn't utilize the opportunity. But now, just by the association of Vakresvara Pandit, who was so pure, was imbued with Krishna Prem, that association gave Devanand Pandit this desire to take darshan of Gaur Sundar. And since Lord knows everything, He is Paramatma in everyone's heart. So he had come, after sannyas from Jagannath Puri, he had come to Kulya. And there he did wonderful dance, he gave wonderful darshan. And it was a very nice verse where it said, all those people who were less sinful, moderately sinful and highly sinful, all of them they got delivered. And I was reading that shloka, I was laughing. All of them they got delivered. So that time Devanand Pandit also came there. It was very nice. Devanand Pandit came there and from far only he paid obeisance. Because he had some past experience on the street. So from far he paid obeisance and in corner he stood. At that time Gaur Sundar or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called him and he made him sit besides. At that time he started saying, he said that I've excused you of all the previous offenses. And he bestowed mercy onto him and he started saying, you are able to see me because you served Vakresvara Pandit. Vakresvara Pandit possesses the full potencies of Supreme Lord. Anyone who serves him attains Krishna. These are the words of Gaur Sundar. Krishna personally resides in the heart of Vakresvara Pandit. Tumhara hriday sada Govinda Vishram. Same line. Our Shastra is consistent. The same thing. Krishna resides in his heart, and whenever Vakresvara Pandit dances, Krishna also dances with him in his heart. It's so wonderful. It is described when pure devotees chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Shri Shri Radha and Krishna, they manifest on the tongue of the devotee. And the tongue becomes a rasasthali. And Radha and Krishna start dancing on the tongue of that devotee. And therefore they relish chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And anyone who is there in proximity of such devotees, for time being, they also start experiencing something similar to what that devotee is experiencing. Therefore, when we sit in kirtan or class of some exalted soul, we can feel that, at least little bit. We are very fallen. Thoda sa aisa upar, aisa, kuch to. And suddenly when class gets over, again we are back. So we can feel that drop also. So in this way, Gaurasundar is saying this. And then he made a very important statement. He said, any place that is associated with Vakresvara Pandit is equal to all the holy places and is as good as Vaikuntha. So wherever Lord is there, that is Vaikuntha. If Lord is there in the heart of the devotee, that is Vaikuntha, that is Vrindavan. That's what Yudhishthira Maharaj is telling Vidura. Bhavad vida bhagavata stirtha bhuta swayam vibho tirthi kurvanti tirthani swantastena gadavrata. Vidura said that he had gone to different pilgrim places. And Yudhishthira Maharaj is saying, you yourself, a chalta firta pilgrim place. And wherever you go, you manifest a pilgrim place there. In fact, you have the power to purify the pilgrim place also. Tirthi kurvanti tirthani. This is the power of a pure devotee. Whenever I read this one statement, I always remember Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada goes to West. And how he made those different places into temple. How he converted a church into a temple. Church to fir bhi theek hai. They do some prayers. How did he convert a pub or a bar into a temple? There were places where clubhouses were, or the pubs were turned into temple. Ghost haunted houses were turned into temple. And we are so powerful, we can turn a temple into... They are all pure, we are all contaminated. So we have all power to do this. Just think about it. So when we analyze this, what Srila Prabhupada has done, then we will be able to get that deep respect and awe and reverence towards Prabhupada. Yes, he was not an ordinary personality. In this way, Prabhupada did that. And anyone who came in touch with Srila Prabhupada experienced something really high in Krishna consciousness. And they had some slogan amongst themselves. To stay high forever. Be in touch with Swamiji. Because they were always there with drugs. And they were high. So they were like, you want to stay high forever? Be with Swamiji. And Swamiji made sure that they always remained high. The services that he would give and the mercy and the blessings that he would shower was really amazing. Really amazing. And therefore here also it is said that how Vakresvara Pandit, wherever he would be there, that place is a place of pilgrimage. So when all these things was told, so at that time Devaran Pandit, with deep realizations, he started praying to the Lord. Again, very, very important thing. The same association of the Lord he had got much, much before when Lord took sannyas. On the street, same street. But at that time he didn't offer prayers. But now he is offering prayers. The difference between the two is mercy. Mercy of Lord. No. Mercy of the devotee. So in case 1, he didn't have mercy of any devotee. Now in case 2, he had mercy of Vakresvara Pandit. And since he had mercy of Vakresvara Pandit, look at his prayer so deep. He said, you are most merciful. You have appeared in Navadvip to deliver the people of the entire universe. Now he speaks his realization. I could not recognize you because I am sinful and unfortunate. I was therefore deprived of opportunity to relish transcendental happiness in your association. I missed it. This is the point that is, I missed it. You are by nature compassionate to all living entities. I beg that I may have attachment for you. कुछ pray करना है तो ऐसा pray करना चाहिए. Oh Lord, please bless me with deep attachment, attraction, taste for serving your lotus feet. Attachment ही तो नहीं है ना? What is missing in our life? Attachment. No, attachment is there, but attachment to Krishna is missing. Attachment is there because we cannot live without attachment. We are attached to some or the other thing of this material world. But missing thing is we are not attached to Krishna. See, at least before we die, we should develop this attachment and die. Attachment to Krishna should be developed before we leave this body. Very, very important. And you know how we develop attachment? If we pray, Krishna will be happy to bless us with attachment. कभी-कभी ऐसा होता है कि क्या pray करना है वही clear नहीं होता है. Devotee is blank in front of the Lord. I don't know what to pray to you. Blank sometimes. And sometimes very, very ordinary prayers will be there. मेरा job चला गया, job दे दो. I want to get married, I'm not finding any match. See, I want to do nice devotional service, so please send a very beautiful, charismatic Mataji who can assist me in my Krishna consciousness. So at times, our prayers will be weird. This is the prayer. See, therefore, whenever we hear about the great personalities in the parampara, at least we understand what to pray. ये पूरा चैतन्य चरितामृत, चैतन्य भागवत, श्रीमद् भागवतम, all this talks about what a Baddha Jeev like us should pray. And here look at Devanand Pandit's prayer. He has received mercy of Vakresvara Pandit, and now, by the mercy of Vakresvara Pandit, he is actually begging for the right thing. Please help me to develop attachment to your lotus feet. If that attachment, if we develop, I think we are perfected our life. Because what do you mean by developing attachment to the Lord? It means wherever you are, you will not be able to forget Krishna. When Uddhav came and Uddhav is telling the gopis that they were sitting and doing yogasanas, meditating. And Uddhav is saying that, are you doing this meditation to remember Krishna? And gopis are saying, no, we're trying to forget him. By doing this meditation, we're trying to forget him. They're not able to forget. This is called attachment. Wherever they are just thinking about Krishna. This is called attachment. And we try to meditate to remember Krishna. That also becomes very difficult because we don't have attachment. Therefore, every single devotee should aspire that I want to develop that attachment towards the Lord. And the day when we develop attachment towards the Lord, our life is successful. Because the rest, everything will fall in place after that. जो भी कचरा है सब निकल जाएगा. प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ होते avidya vinasha jayate. Same thing. When attachment is developed, all that is troublesome will be removed. Very nicely it will be removed. Now see, he says, Oh Lord, I have one request at your lotus feet. Please instruct me. I am an ignorant person, yet I teach Srimad Bhagwatam, which is a book meant for the most intelligent persons. How should I explain it? And how should I teach? Oh Lord, kindly instruct me. How should I give Bhagwatam class? He is asking. And Lord is saying, listen, O Brahmana, while teaching Srimad Bhagwatam, you should not explain anything other than devotional service. And when it comes to us in ISKCON, we speak nothing apart from Srimad Bhagwatam or devotional service. This has to be clear. Even in one-to-one discussion, when we are preaching to someone, we have to speak pure devotional aspect. In the beginning, middle, end of Srimad Bhagwatam, devotional service to Vishnu is described as eternally perfect, inexhaustible and infallible. Because Srimad Bhagwatam glorifies devotional service, there is no literature equal to it. This is the speciality of Srimad Bhagwatam. Kuch bhi kachara nahi hai. There is no kachara of karma, jnana and yoga. It's only bhakti. Only bhakti. See, Mahabharata, there are so many sections. But from Mahabharata, only few sections are given in Srimad Bhagwatam which are pure devotional aspect. Which are advertising pure devotional aspect. Like Dhritarashtra leaving home. See, why scene kyun dala isme? And the other aspects where Kunti Maharani is offering prayers. Or Bhishma Dev is offering prayers. Why only these sections? This talks about pure devotional service. Because Srimad Bhagwatam glorifies devotional service, there is no literature equal to it. You should explain devotional service in the beginning, in the middle, in the end of Srimad Bhagwatam class. This is what Srila Prabhupada does. He begins with Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead. He continues speaking about rendering service to Krishna, and he ends with attaining the goal, that is Krishna Prem. Any class you take up, you will find this pattern. And in between, some multiple times he'll tell rascal, render devotional service. And finally he says, if you do all this, O Devanand, then you will no longer commit any offense and you will immediately become joyful at heart. You'll feel very nice. You'll become joyful. If you speak about pure devotional service, if you render pure devotional service, you'll feel joyful at heart. So one devotee was sharing this, I couldn't find reference, that Devanand Pandit also went to Shvas Takur and begged forgiveness from Shvas Takur for the offense that he had committed a long time back. So after all this, Devanand Pandit, with a very, very humble heart, he paid obeisance to Lord Chaitanya and he left from that place. So in this way we see that it was not the Lord who transformed the life of Devanand Pandit, but the hero of our entire class, the 72-hour dancer, Vakresvara Pandit was the one who transformed the life of Devanand Pandit. Therefore, we also should have one such personality in our life who can transform our life from an offender to a pure devotee. And that is A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. There Vakresvara Pandit was dancing and Devanand Pandit was holding him, cleaning his body, etc., etc. For us, we also have to hold the entire mission that is given to us. And whenever there is dust that comes in our mission, we have to clean that dust. This is equivalent to taking care of Srila Prabhupada's body, which is nothing but this entire organization called ISKCON. And if we are doing that, for sure, we offenders who are very nicely, very perfectly committing all the 11 offenses every day, plus 64 also, will be transformed into a very nice, pure devotee of the Lord. So he is that personality whose name is Vakresvara Pandit. Thank you very much. Vakresvara Pandit ki Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.